Okay, I would say that I'm speechless, except I'm not speechless. There is a lot to talk about with Nintendo and tariffs and the Nintendo Switch 2 that we really need to talk about it. So, let's talk about it. Allow me just a moment of recap, just in case there's anybody here who's not been keeping up with Nintendo and all the news that's been out regarding the Switch 2. A couple of days ago, Nintendo had their big showcase, their direct for the Switch 2, and it was amazing. It was incredible. The Switch 2 is bigger. It's faster. 120 FPS is phenomenal because it means that every game should be running smoothly no matter what. The screen is bigger and it looks better. There's HDR. So yes, Nintendo gets it. The perfect showcase, 10 out of 10. But there was one thing missing, and that was pricing. The entire direct, Nintendo did not show pricing for anything at all. And then after the direct, the prices started coming out. And let's just say that it's a little steep. Before we go on, let's just acknowledge this. The console itself is gonna be $450. And in truth, that's actually really good pricing for something that can run at 4K 120. Like many people, I was kind of hoping for 400, but I'm not gonna lie. The moment I heard 120 FPS, I was like, actually, I can pay $450 for that. The big problem though is the price of everything else, particularly the price of Mario Kart, which is going to be $80 USDA, meaning in places like Canada, it's gonna be close to $100. So we have now officially reached the point where we are paying $100 for a video game. And not only that, there is also industry implications here because again, remember, there are other games that are coming out this year. So if Nintendo is pricing their biggest title, Mario Kart, at $100, it goes to follow that other people are gonna start doing the same. So we're talking Ghost of Yotai, how much is that gonna be? Death Stranding 2, how much is that gonna be? Well, what about GTA 6? See, we've already been talking about GTA 6 being $100, but now that Nintendo's already bumped up their game by $10 and in some cases $20, GTA 6 could really sell for $120, right? And the truth is, even at those prices, many of us are going to buy the games, right? Right, and Nintendo knows that. But it became pretty clear pretty quickly that yes, people were still on board and we are still gonna buy this console, and I'm gonna be there in line on the 9th for my pre-order. And then Trump happened. So just the same day, probably moments after the direct, the showcase, the Trump tariffs kicks in. Meaning all over the world, governments are getting higher taxes for shipping goods around the world. And then Nintendo did this, which is to release a report saying that because of the tariffs, the pre-order dates for the United States and only the United States are going to be delayed for we don't really know how long. But they're still claiming that even with the delay that the system will still release on June 5th. Here's the thing though, if the tariffs continue to go on longer and longer, there's a real possibility that they might just delay the Switch 2 altogether, although that is highly unlikely. So what is the most likely scenario? Well, right now it seems that Nintendo is just gonna raise the prices of the Switch 2 in the United States. But here's the catch. Because the United States is still the #1 currency around the world, if prices go up for the United States, it's gonna go up for everybody else. Particularly people on the West, like in Canada or in Mexico or in Brazil. And the biggest problem here is North America is the #1 customer base for Nintendo. So, our beloved Nintendo gaming company is now caught between a rock and a hard place. The tariffs, they have no control over that because they're not a government entity. They are a computer tech company that makes video games, and it isn't on them at all to set the prices for things. They kind of just go based on the market. So if governments around the world are starting to tax one another or impose extra taxes on one another, a company like Nintendo has no choice but to just raise their prices accordingly. The schematics for the Switch 2 is already done. The devices are currently getting made, so Nintendo can't just go backwards and change the schematics to make it cheaper. The only option they have is just to raise prices. So yes, there's a good chance that Nintendo is going to raise the price of the Switch 2, and it's going to affect pretty much everyone, even if you don't live in the United States of America. There is a slight chance that it would just affect the taxes for the device itself, because that's what goes straight to the government. But oftentimes, what actually happens is any increased prices is actually pushed over to the consumers, meaning us. This is where we find ourselves. The gaming industry is now being invaded by things that are happening outside of the gaming industry, because again, and people need to remember this, the gaming industry is still a business. It is still governed by the rules of businesses and what's happening in the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, what was supposed to be one of the greatest moments of gaming, a new console, a new Nintendo console, went from, oh, those prices are a little bit too high, to, wait, you're telling me they could be even higher? And never mind the fact that we're not just talking about the games that are pricey, we're talking about everything else that also comes with it, because again, the Nintendo Switch is not going to be the most sturdy device out there. You're still gonna have issues with stick drift. I guarantee it. You're still gonna have issues with things breaking. So a console that's already pretty expensive could become even more expensive because of tariffs. And once you start adding up all the other factors, the Nintendo Switch 2 could go down as one of the most expensive consoles ever made. It really could. So, what say you? What do you think? Are the prices gonna go up? Should Nintendo raise the price, or should Nintendo just take a loss for no reason? Are you happy about the prices? Do you think the prices are okay? Personally, as I've said, I think the $450 for the console, honestly, I think that makes sense. $80 for Mario Kart, I honestly don't think that's bad either, because of what I think Mario Kart could be. But I do think overall, this rising prices, we do need to figure something out here. So let me know what you guys think. As always, like the video, leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm. Please leave a comment. As always, have a wonderful day.